What is going on, everyone? So I have a new deck profile for you guys, a new colorless build called Sleeping Titan, made by Axel Morales, which is a teammate of mine here in Team Moomoomilk. After the ban list, we all sort of drifted away into like our own little bubbles to sort of try to be the first ones to make a very strong colorless build. I went with flying theme deck, and Axel Morales actually went with like more of like a sleeping condition sort of deck. We all agree that we don't think Hobbs theme colorless version is the strongest. It is very strong when you can pull it off, but I think there's a lot of weaknesses in some of the hop cards. So we sort of, well, we didn't want to play that at all. So we sort of like drifted away. After I did really well with KFC, I actually built the same list that Axel did, and I sort of helped him out just to figure out where his head was at. And although we clashed in some of the ideas, overall the deck runs very similar, and Axel just had some amazing ideas, so I had to showcase it because we have been playtesting it in tournament and it's doing so well. I really want more people to build a deck and like and just see how strong it can be. And it's also very fresh. A lot of people are trying to figure out like what's the best colorless build out there, and I feel like this is the moment to like showcase how good colorless can be. And I feel like it's not getting shown online, so we wanted to make sure that you guys have multiple colorless builds that are very strong, that you can take into tournament and absolutely win with them. So let's get right into the build. So Axel looked at Kamala and said, all right, this is perfect. We are obviously playing our big boy, the most important one, which is the Snorlax, and this Kamala just has a lot of synergy with this Snorlax. So Slumbering Smack with 1 energy does 30 damage. It puts both active to sleep, and then after that, if it doesn't get like switch and it actually wakes up in your following turn, it starts doing 130. It has 100 HP, so you can search it with Fan Rotom, which is incredibly strong. Very good starter. And if you can like slow your opponent down even 1 turn, it can actually be huge in the long run. And obviously we're playing only this Snorlax. We're not playing Hop Snorlax. We don't think it's that great. We think it's a little bricky. We think it's very dangerous to play that Snorlax. At least in our testing, it's just not amazing. But you can. There's people that have been using it. There's people that have been having amazing results with that. It's just not what you're not gonna see in this build. We're also playing the Attacking Ditto. It just has a lot of synergy with these guys as well. You can copy their attacks. And we are playing a lot of basics, so this Ditto is just going to be an extender of those guys. So just incredible card. We are playing, obviously, the best card in GLC right now, which is Fan Rotom. And we are playing Hobbs Cramorant. We are not playing a lot of Hobbs cards, but we are playing the Hobbs Cramorant. It's just very good and very strong in the mid to late game. If your opponent doesn't immediately get this card KO, you can continue to put a lot of pressure. And because we are sort of wasting a lot of resources into powering up our Snorlax, we want to also put pressure with other mons that have very low attack cost, and that's why I think these guys work so well with them. As other supporter cards, we are playing the Dojo lineup, having a Pokemon that can serve as drawing engine, but also being in your bench as a potential attacker. It's probably one of the strongest things that Colorless has at the moment. We also play the Shinshino. Now Axel is on Bibarel, and again, we've tested this deck in tournament already a bunch of times, and both are correct. There's good arguments to play Bibarel. There's good arguments to play Shinshino. I'll give you my argument because again, I'm doing the deck profile, but my argument on playing Shinshino on testing is, again, we want to if we want to put pressure with these guys, I don't want to have to charge a Bibarel for 3 energies. And attaching that basic energy from your discard pile to your bench actually has come up. It's also more searchable. Cinchino has 90 HP, so it's a little more searchable. I've also had situations where my hand just is just huge and I can't play Bibarel. So I have experience because I've played KFC. I have experience with Pidgeotto, and Cinchino is very similar to Pidgeotto, and I really enjoy Pidgeotto. I don't think you need more draw power than this. But again, if you want to play Bibarel, it's an absolute choice, and it's also a very good card to play instead of the Cinchino. So test it out and let me know what you came up with. And then last we have the Pelipper lineup. So this lineup is just incredibly strong. If you're gonna play things like Gardenia or Crispin, or you're gonna play Mela, or you're gonna play Mina, you're going to need, you're obviously gonna want those cards as often as possible, because again, you want to charge your Snorlax. But also there's a lot of weird situations that happen all the time. Again, this is GLC, so it's a single ton format, and just having more consistency, it's just incredible. This card is just too good not to play. Even before the ban list, it was getting played, and I think it's just a very underrated card. Play it yourself. Let me know what you think. I've already tested it more than 100 times, and it's just incredible. But again, it's one of those cards that is very subjective to the player. But we're very happy with the lineup. Again, the Bibarel is the only thing that we like are sort of iffy on, but there's good arguments on both parts. As for supporters, we are playing the Iono, Hexmaniac, the Boss, the Raihan, Marnie. We are playing Guzma, and Hala, Clara, Lucamine, Arven, Ball Guy, Judge. Okay, so this is another thing that came up in discussion. Why Ball Guy and not Winona, right? So again, in testing, we've already tested this deck a lot, so I have a lot to say about Ball Guy versus Winona. There's good arguments for both. The reason why I play Ball Guy instead of Winona, you can play Winona. Again, that's all up to you. The reason why I play Ball Guy is because I want to have more access. If I'm being honest, I want to have as much access to his Sweet and Heavy Ball as possible. Because if an important basic is prize in this deck, it actually matters, especially with Fan Rotom. So you want to have access to that card as soon as possible. You also want to thin your deck as fast as possible so you can get into your important pieces. So getting into your Pokeballs quick is super nice. And with how powerful these mons are in compared to other gyms, these balls will turn into mons that will get you into like supporters, drawing every turn, you know, attacking supporters, just incredible consistency. So I just prefer Ball Guy, but you can play Winona. Again, very subjective. And again, I'm gonna continue doing this as you will. Every time there's like a card that is sort of like maybe like sketchy or not like seen normally in Colorless, I'm gonna try to touch up on it and just give you guys the reason behind it. And if there's a card that you guys don't understand, leave it in the comments. I'm sure someone from the team will respond, and if you have any questions, just let us know. Let's get into the items. There is another supporter, but we're going to get into that supporter at the end of the video. So for the Pokeballs, we are playing the Level Ball, the Quick Ball, Hisui Heavy Ball, and Ultra Ball. We're also playing the Nest Ball. You could potentially play Timer Ball, but again, consistency. So we are not playing Timer Ball, but you can. It's also a card that you can play if you want. Consistency, Trainer's Mail, Body Poffins. We play Adventure Bag, Pokemon Communication. So Pokemon Communication is one of those cards that, as a player, I think that if your deck really values the power of Pokemon Communication, you should play it. And in Colorless, I think every single person in the planet should be on Pokemon Communication if you're playing Colorless. Absolutely. I don't think there is. I've gone over the argument with a lot of people, and there is not a single winning argument of why you shouldn't be playing Pokemon Communication. Absolutely do it. It's incredible. It's just super strong. Yeah. If you have an argument against it, let me know. I want to hear it. But just very strong. If you don't enjoy it, or you have trouble finding space for something else, then yeah, try taking it out. I don't recommend it, but it's a choice. Yep, you can definitely do it. Professor's Letter, because we are playing basic energies in our deck, and it's just obviously one of the best cards to have. As supporting items, we are playing Versus Seeker, Field Blower, Scoop Up Net, Enhance Hammer, Night Stretcher, and Rescue Stretcher. Okay. And this is very important because we are playing a lot of basics, obviously. Enhance Hammer still comes up in tournament. Things like Okie Dokie, or just like weird matchups where you sort of want to like slow your opponent down against Psychic. It's just good overall to have, and we have the space. Scoop Up Net, again, it's another card that'll help us with the sleeping cost in our deck. And it's just super good against, if they want to like snipe something that's heavy, like a Snorlax that hasn't been powered up yet, or like a Pelipper mid to late game. Having Scoop Up Net is very helpful. And for our tools, we play the U-turn board, Floatstone, Luxurious Escape, Muscle Band, and we play the best tool for this build, which is Sparkling Robe, which basically is a card that says if the Pokemon that this card is attached to can't be affected by any special conditions. Obviously, it works with everything, but specifically for this deck, it's going to be helpful for the sleeping condition. Okay. And then we get into our stadiums. We play the Stadium Nav, which is obviously not a stadium, but it belongs into this lineup. We are playing the Sky Pillar, very important. I don't know if you guys have seen, or if you guys are new to the format, then this is a card that you might not be seeing a lot lately. But if you're older to the format, this is a card that recently a lot of people that have been doing really well in tournaments, like regionals or like big tournaments, you are seeing Sky Pillar in the format and in these deck profiles, and it's because the format right now is very snipey, spread heavy. So Sky Pillar really helps with that, and it's a card that if your opponent isn't ready for it, or it either obligates your opponent to have to get that card out of the way. But then again, we are playing things like Pelipper, we are playing things like Lusamine, so we get to have access to this card multiple times a game, which is super nice. We're also playing the very strong Artisan, obviously, because it's consistency for our, if we're going first, we want to have as many cards as possible to get that to that Fan Rotom. We are playing the very powerful Parallel City that can sometimes single-handedly win you games. And then we are playing the Chaos Tower. So this is a very techy card that we are playing in the build. And it's very fun. Depending on the size, you get to be immune to Sleep Paralyze, or you get to be immune to Confuse and Poison. Depending on the matchup, obviously, you're going to be switching this card on a different side, but most likely you're going to be turning into the red side so that you can ignore those sleep effects from your Pokemon's attacks. So very nice. The idea of what we wanted to build here was we wanted to have multiple cards, or different cards, different card types that could help us with the sleeping problem. So that's why we have like supporters like Guzma, and Hala. We have tools like the Robe. We have an energy that we're going to get into right now, which is the therapeutic energy. So we have a stadium, we have tools, we have supporters, we have energies. And again, it doesn't feel combo-ish. It almost feels perfect in the build. So very happy with the tower. And again, we only need the tower to work once, right? So if it stays there, perfect. If it doesn't, we can still get it back. So either way, it's great. We are playing Give Energy. jet energy, capture energy, and double turbo energy. And we're playing powerful energy. All right. Now, if you have been counting, you will notice that there's 5 cards that are missing in the deck. All right. And we're going to get into that right now. All right. The deck has been working really well. There's some cards that are still debatable, not because they aren't perfect for the deck. It's because, again, this is a GLC format, so there's going to be arguments on why to play certain cards. They're probably all going to be the perfect choice depending on the situation. So, yeah. It's not like we're still testing the deck. The deck works, and the deck is amazing and very competitive, and you can definitely win with the deck. But you have so much flexibility that you can do a lot of things with the deck. So let's get into the last 5 cards. So whenever I started building the deck, I obviously told Axel, like, Axel, can you give me like your deck list so I can build it like card by card and test it myself to see how I can help you maybe with the list. And of course, in the original list, or in the list that Axel uses, he plays Mela and 4 fire energies. Okay. Now this is really powerful, and in my opinion, I think it's probably the best way to play Colorless. If I'm being totally honest, every time that I've played Axel, he actually has been able to beat me. And then in some tournaments, depending on like the tournament, either I rank higher than him or he ranks higher than me. But I can see how powerful Mela is, because you can continuously charge your Snorlax, which is just very hard to deal with. So if I were to pick one, or I were to play this deck in tournament, or advise someone to play this in tournament, I will probably go Axel's way and play the fire version of the build. However, whenever I tested the build, I was on a different supporter. I was playing Gardanian's Vigor. And I was playing 4 grass energies. All right. The reason behind this was because I didn't want to have, again, consistency as much as possible, right? So I didn't want to have supporter that, I didn't want to have a lot of supporters that were situational at a moment at a game, at a moment in the game. So Gardenia's Vigor, even if you don't have the grass energy, you can still draw and then attach, which is super cool. Worst case scenario, you draw 2, which is all you need with Colorless, because you have really good consistency. And it just feels really nice, because your opponent, a lot of times during the match, your opponent isn't expecting it. And because they see grass energies, they don't feel threatened by the fire energies or the Mela, which is super cool. So sometimes they leave other mons alone, which is weird. But I personally enjoyed it, and it came up a lot in tournament, and it did really well. And I didn't need, there were a lot of times where I didn't need, it was too early in the game, and I didn't need the Mela. So Gardenia's Vigor just felt a lot stronger, but I can see how Mela can be better in the long run, mid to late game. So again, it's all up to you. Then we have another contender. If you want to, we can, instead of playing the grass or the fire, you can play Mina. So you can play Mina, and then instead of playing grass or fire, you can play fairy. So it's pretty cool, because Mina won't draw you cards, but it'll get you cards from your deck, so you don't have to draw them or discard them. So they're all good in different scenarios. You can also like shuffle these guys back. You can also, you don't need to have all of them in your hand. You don't need to draw 2. You don't need to have them in your discard pile. If you play things like Ordinary Rod in certain situations, instead of playing the stretchers, then you can probably, shuffle these backs. You can shuffle these guys back into the deck to play multiple Minas a game, which again, you can with Pelipper and Versus Seeker and Lucamine, and etc. All right. Now you could also pick like a combination, right? So you could do like a combination of like these three, for example, and like play things like Crispin. You could also add like the electric energy and then play things like Volkner and maybe play Kecleon with the Rapid Strike tool, and that also will help against the water matchups and even the flying matchups. So there is so much flexibility in the deck. It's crazy. And again, if you want to play Colorless Fairy, you can. Colorless Grass, Colorless Fire, they're all really good in different scenarios. So you get to pick whatever you want. It's also fun that you get to like play not like a different deck because you're playing the same deck, but just changing these three supporters will actually make the deck feel a little bit different. Because of, again, obviously like the energy. So it's a fun way to just play the same deck with sort of like a different engine. And it just has been really cool to play. So I hope you guys really enjoy the build. If you guys have any questions on it, again, the deck is very flexible. You could do a lot of things. But this is obviously what we came up with and what we've been using and what's been getting us results. So I'll also leave in the description not only the deck profile so you guys can immediately like go card for card. I'll also leave the picture that Axel sent me not so long ago, so you can see like how he has like changed the list in different ways, and you can compare that and make it your own. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you guys later.